Okay, so this example, we're going to work on connecting algebra and geometry through coordinates. So we have a triangle over here and a coordinate plane. Each vertex of the triangle is labeled A, B, C, and we have the coordinates of each vertex. The question is, what formula can you use to find AB? So when they're asking for AB, they want to know how long AB is. And we know how to find how long something is. That's our distance formula. So we can use the distance formula to find AB, and let's go ahead and do that. So our distance formula is AB is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1. So I'm going to use point A as my x2, y2. So 1 minus 3 squared plus y2 minus y1. So 6 minus 1 squared. And then when we simplify that, we want to subtract. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 6 minus 1 is 5. Negative 2 squared, anytime you square a number, it's going to turn positive. Plus 5 squared is 25. And we get a distance of square root of 29. So a segment AB has a length of square root of 29. All right, our next question, which point bisects AB? So if we look at AB, it's this segment right here. When we say bisect, we mean to cut it in half. And we can cut it in half by finding the midpoint. So which point bisects that? We want to find our midpoint. So our midpoint formula is an ordered pair. In the first coordinate spot, you add your x's. So 1 plus 3. I'm adding the x's of a and b because we want the midpoint of AB. We're going to cut that in half, divide by 2. And let's add the y's. 6 plus 1 divided by 2. 1 plus 3 is 4 over 2. 6 plus 1 is 7 over 2. And then our final answer, we can reduce that 4 over 2 to 2. And then the 7 halves will leave us 7 halves. And that is the point that bisects AB. So we can bisect by finding a midpoint. All right, our next question, why do slopes of segment AB and segment BC show that the measure of angle ABC is equal to 90 degrees? Well, let me give you some background info on that. If two slopes So if you have the product is multiply. If the product of two slopes is -1, then those segments where you got the slopes from are perpendicular. Perpendicular does mean that they will be 90 degrees. So if you need to show that two segments or two lines are perpendicular, you can multiply their slopes together and see if you get that product of -1. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to multiply our slopes together. So let's find the slope of AB first. So AB has two coordinate points. I'll go ahead and write those out. A is 1, 6, and B is 3, 1. It's helpful to label these, your x1, y1, so they plug into our slope formula pretty nicely. So our first point has x1 and y1. Our second point has x2 and y2. So the slope is y2 minus y1, 1 minus 6, over x2, 3, minus x1, 1. 1 minus 6 is -5. 3 minus 1 is 2. So the slope of AB is -5 halves. Now we're going to find the slope of BC. So let's go ahead and write out what those two ordered pairs are just so they're handy. Point B we wrote down above, that is the point 3, 1. Point C is 8, 3. And then we can label these with our x1, y1. Our first point is x1, y1. Second point is x2, y2. And the slope, we're going to do y2 minus y1, so 3 minus 1 over x2, 8 minus x1, 3. 3 minus 1 is 2, 8 minus 3 is 5. Now, to show that, or if, I guess, they are perpendicular, we want to find the product of those two slopes and see if we get negative 1. So product is multiply. We're going to go ahead and take the first slope, negative 5 halves, times the second slope, 2 fifths, and we get negative 10, multiply across the top, over positive 10, and negative 10 over 10 equals a negative 1. So that's just to check. We just found that the slopes of the two segments are perpendicular, which means that the angle formed by them is 90 degrees. So we just found the slope of AB and the slope of BC. The product of those was negative 1, which means they are perpendicular, so that is a 90-degree angle right there.